All right. So for the keynote speech promoting collaboration for sustainability and global impact, Jim Morrell, ADE, ICUDE, the President and CEO, Peninsula Credit Union, Board Director, WOCU, and America's Credit Union, USA. Let's find out more.
He is a globally respected credit union leader, visionary strategist, and passionate advocate for financial inclusion. He serves as President and Chief Executive Officer of Peninsula Credit Union in Washington State, USA, where he has championed innovation in community finance, expanded access to underserved populations, and demonstrated the power of credit unions to transform lives. Beyond his role at Peninsula, he serves on the boards of the World Council of Credit Unions and also the America's Credit Union Board, where he brings a global perspective on cooperative finance, good governance, and sustainable membership. He is a certified International Credit Union Development Educator and also a graduate of the inaugural Africa Development Educators 80 class of June 2014. This expertise is not confined to the work at Peninsula Credit Union or the United States. Jim has leveraged his knowledge across borders, working with credit unions in Africa to pursue the use of cooperative operating principles to help individuals build financial capability and communities inspire economic development. With more than 3 decades of leadership in the global cooperative movement, he is celebrated for his ability to blend strategic vision with people-centered leadership. He is a sought-after voice on topics such as financial empowerment, community resilience, and the role of cooperatives in advancing the UN Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs. He has been recognized as the African American Credit Union Coalition Maurice Smith Leadership Award recipient, Go West Credit Union Association 2021 Credit Union Advocate of the Year, the 2019 President's Choice Award by the Shelton Mason Chamber, and also the Go West Credit Union Association 2010 Distinguished Credit Union Professional of the Year. As our keynote speaker today, he embodies the spirit of servant leadership, reminding us that the cooperative business model, when rooted in people and purpose, can be a powerful catalyst for prosperity and social change. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, please join us in welcoming the President and CEO of Peninsula Credit Union and also a Board Director at the World Council of Credit Unions and America's Credit Union USA, Jim Morrell.
The protocols. I almost forgot. Honorable Babakar Diouf, Minister of Defense, the Gambia. The Honorable Lady Justice Philomena Mwilu, Deputy Chief Justice and Vice President of the Supreme Court of Kenya. His Excellency Ambassador Shem Amadi, Patrick Kalemi, Principal Secretary, State Department of Cooperatives, Kenya. Chairperson of ACCA, Madam Jeanette, my brother George Ambato, Executive Director of ACCA, and my sister Lois Kitch, Board Chairperson of the ACDF. All chairpersons, our development partners, all international credit union development educators, Africa DEs, credit union development educators from around the world, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Akwaba. In January 2014, I was a baby DE, asked to mentor a credit union development course in North Carolina, United States. I did not know until I arrived that 3 brothers from Africa would be there. George Ambato, Ambassador Akana, and the late Sylvester Conzola. I scratched my head and I thought, why would these men from Africa, which I imagine to be a hot place, want to come to North Carolina, where in January that year, during the DE class, it snowed? Fast forward only 5 short months, and I confirmed my notion that Africa was warm when I traveled to Nairobi for the first ADE class ever. It was so warm, the air conditioner was blowing. I was in my shorts and my T-shirt. I said, "Can we turn up the AC?" And my African brothers and sisters in the class said, "No, turn it off. It's too cold." I did not know in January of 2014 that my first kiss in Africa would be with Twiga, a giraffe named Joke, in Nairobi. And I did not know that this morning when I woke up, it would rain here in Ghana, reminding me of the rain in Washington State at home. Thank you for the warm welcome to Ghana. I always like to know where I go before I start and before I come. And this year, this trip, I'm coming to Ghana. Our flag ceremony last night proved that there's so much unity, so much pride behind flags. And in this flag, when we look at the red, the color, the blood shed by freedom fighters to fight for independence of this country, and the gold to signify the resources that exist in Ghana, the gold minerals that exist here, the Gold Coast, in fact, it's called, and the green that exemplifies the natural fertility of the land and what that brings to us, the future, the life that it provides. And I looked and I said, and what does the black star mean? Marcus Garvey, Pan-African leader who is known for the Black Star Line, that's where that black star, I understand, comes from, signifying unity and a future of prosperity, of economic empowerment. When I look at this flag, I understand a little bit more. I learn a little bit more about Africa. When we look at all of the flags, we already stood up, but I was just wondering if still this morning there is great pride from those cooperators who are from Ghana. Yes? Are there any cooperators from Ghana here? What about from Malawi? Yes? The Gambia? Cameroon? I see bright lights. I can't see hands. I can only hear. Is anybody from Cameroon here? And what about next year's host, Tanzania? Yes, they're awake. They're awake. When I look at all of these flags and the commonality of colors, and I think of us as cooperators, I think it takes a lot of hard work. It takes a lot of sweat. Indeed, sometimes blood and tears for us to shed to make our SACCOs successful. And I think about the gold, the resources that we have. If you look around here, if you look around the room, how many resources are you sitting next to in this space? How many resources have you talked to already? How many gold nuggets of wisdom will you receive during the days that you're here? That, my friends, the resources and the collaboration as far as why we're here. And I think of the fertility of the ideas that could germinate from those connections, from the collaboration. And I dream that from the unity of this space, at this Congress in Ghana, that there will be many seeds planted, and indeed many seeds grown, and flourish for you as an individual, for your members of your SACCOs, for your SACCOs' participation in the Apex organizations, and for the Apex organization's support of ACOSCA, and indeed the support of financial cooperatives around the world. I challenge you next time that you look at your national pride in your flag, add to your thoughts the work that you're doing to financially empower the members of your community and the members of your nation. So just like the Black Star, there's financial empowerment that will live on forever and many generations to come. I also think about collaboration. Collaboration is key for us as SACCOs. There are many examples of trust that exist. My brother George, for example, has trusted me to be on this stage. He's trusted many of you leaders that you will do the right thing. Back several years ago, I had the opportunity to meet with a board of directors of a SACCO in Harare, Zimbabwe. And they asked me, Jim, what should the mission of our SACCO be? I could have provided them an answer. I could have shared with them what I believed that Jim thought the mission of their SACCO should be. But I knew that the answer did not lie in me. It lied in them. And I asked them to close their eyes and share after they opened them what their thoughts were. Their thoughts were of the work that was happening outside that room that we were in. Their thoughts were about their children, about their wives, about their family, about the businesses that I learned that those board members operated that surrounded that room and that space. Those board members of the SACCO in Harare that I met with said, we want to save a little bit of money so that after we pass on, that our wife and our family is taken care of, and so that there's a little bit of money left over for our burial expenses. I said, you have answered your own question about what the mission and the purpose of that SACCO should be. Support. When I've had the opportunity to travel around to different areas of this continent, I've seen an example of SACCOs supporting their apex organization in many countries, with an example of that of Malawi, where not only United Civil Service SACCO, Moody SACCO, and the others took me to the Salima School for the Blind, where we worked collaboratively on a project to improve the educational space to make it safe for those children who could not see, to feel like they were part of something larger, to give them a place to thrive, to empower those children. And by that example, it was not just being done for my feeling good. It was not just being done for United Civil Service SACCO or for Moody SACCO. Indeed, it was being done also for MUSCO. So that MUSCO, along with those SACCOs across Malawi, could demonstrate to the policymakers and to the regulators, this is what credit unions can do. This is the impact that credit unions can make on our community and indeed across the country of the warm heart of Africa, Malawi. There's many successes like that exist across the continent. Sometimes the successes come from challenge. There's two great examples happening today of challenges that are breeding great success, great plans for the future in what's happening with Cusco in Kenya being rebuilt, and the same thing with Skolt in Tanzania. They're making stronger apex organizations because of the support of their SACCOs, because they know collectively together it is stronger than if they'd each tried to do something separate. In my travels, which I never dreamed of in January of 2014, I've been inspired. I've been inspired by the work of the project of the Don Bosco School for Special Children in Likuyani, Kenya. To see those children thrive, to put together a library not only for the school, but a library that would serve the entire community, which now serves hundreds of people per week, and many trips back to reinforce that school. I've been inspired that if that can happen in Liquiani, that can also happen in Shelton, Washington, and the communities the Peninsula Credit Union serves. I take that back with me. There's been exchanges. Sometimes, in fact, July of 2024, one of those exchanges from Accra came to visit my credit union in Shelton. And as part of that journey, as part of that learn and share, we not only toured the space and the surrounding areas and became familiar with the Native American First People culture of my land, but the group was also invited by my board chair to sit in on our board of directors meeting. And during that meeting, while the observers from Kenya and Malawi were behind me, I could hear the light bulbs popping, sometimes blowing out maybe, at how quickly that 1 hour board meeting lasted. I heard a bigger flash behind me when the board chair turned to the supervisory committee chair and said, "Do you have anything of significance to report?" And she said, "Mr. Chair, we have met, we have engaged, we've been informed of the audits and activities around the credit union. There is nothing significant to share. That is the end of my report." It was not sharing in 2 hours a 1.5 hour supervisory committee meeting, as one of the supervisory committee chairs that was on that trip explained to me often happens at his SACCO. There's examples of assistance, there's examples of teamwork and collaboration that occur all the time across my travels in Africa. We, in fact, as a SACCO movement, look more like this diagram, I think, where if not for the SACCOs, the apex organizations would not exist. Without the apex organizations, ACCA would not exist. Without ACCA, the World Council would not exist. And our governments, you too, play a role in ensuring that the safety and soundness of our SACCOs and our system are upheld. We interact with you as credit unions and with SACCOs in order to provide you the impact, in order to provide you the education, in order to help make sure that as policymakers and regulators, you are not ignorant to the realities that we as SACCOs face. And so that we know when you provide us feedback as a regulator, as a government, that we may not be doing things the straight way, that we know that it's coming from a genuine place of collaboration, of unity, of wanting to see the same things succeed and financially empowering our community. There's roles that are played at all of these levels. The World Council, in suggesting this year that regulations are proportional and should be treated as such, and sending that communication to the G20 this year, being hosted by South Africa. That's an important message, so that regardless of the size, regardless of the scale of the financial cooperative, that the regulation is appropriately sized. But I want to take a moment, too, not just to talk about how we support each other and how we collaborate, but why we do that. We do that at the beginning and the end of every day because of a member who may be financially thriving, and many, many members who may be financially challenged, and many, many, many more individuals that could be parts of our SACCOs benefited by financial literacy, benefited by learning more about the importance of savings, as I saw take place in Arusha, Tanzania, a year and a half ago, when we met doing a financial literacy program in Arusha to small businesses who are all owned by women, as was their SACCO. In the real world, though, sometimes this aspiration gets to be like the traffic in Nairobi or in Arusha or in Accra, I know traffic in Nairobi. I once sat in the back seat of an Uber vehicle in Nairobi for 7 hours. 7 hours. 7 hours. People asked, how did you feel? What came out of that when you got out of the Uber? You must have felt tremendous. I said, I felt like I needed to go to the bathroom. But oftentimes we lose our course. Boards get in the way and veer off the path, veer off the lane of their strategic focus and get into the operations of the credit union. Sometimes management says, I'm not going to listen. Sometimes there's disagreements between board and management. Sometimes boards ask CEOs not to participate in board meetings. That is wrong. If we are not collaborating between board and management, then we are not going to be successful. We're going to kick up the dust. And what's going to happen is the regulators are going to be like the traffic police, trying to shove each other back into one another's lanes, trying to explain that there's something called liquidity or financial management of your SACCO that you need to focus on. In fact, if a lot of this happens, and if a lot of the ethical values that we just heard about are not followed, that breeds distrust, that breeds fraud, that breeds mismanagement. Sometimes there's liquidity issues. Sometimes the SACCOs are not supporting the apex organizations. Sometimes the apex organizations don't even know their government. If I can build a relationship with the permanent secretary of Kenya and he can entrust with me what he sees as challenges for the SACCO movement, that sometimes policymakers, he has shared with me, are ignorant about our realities and that credit unions do not share enough good stories of the impact that they're making, that type of perspective is helpful. But if we don't follow that, then what happens? Then many of the credit unions get misplaced. They disappeared. Yes? We often say credit unions. Happy family. No credit unions. Happy family, not happy. Let me say that again, all together. No credit unions. Family, not happy. Right? If we say no apex organizations not happy. No apex. If we are a government, it's not likely to go away, but if the government see that there are no longer SACCOs, what will the governments think? Not happy, because my citizens of my country are not being financially empowered and being brought up by the support of my SACCOs. No credit unions, family not happy. So what we want to think about instead is the happy family that centers around the members, the happy family that my God tells me has many parts but one body, that by together we can be stronger, by together here at this Congress we can be united. And as we begin to plant those seeds and we share different ideas, that we can collaborate on those. Let me briefly share a couple of points about cooperative collaboration. Cooperative collaboration is beneficial for SACCOs of all sizes. In fact, probably more so for the smaller SACCOs being helped to be educated and informed, but also for the larger SACCOs so that they do not lose their way, that they do not begin to chase profits over values, that there's ways to build in systemic stability around risk management or deposit guarantee schemes or central liquidity facilities that are not managed by the apex organizations but are independent. Efficiencies about shared services that can be provided, regulatory compliance best practices that can be shared, enhanced member value, how to lower operating costs, how to increase and leverage loans. Also, cooperative collaboration exists amongst the apex organizations, where as one voice, it's collectively stronger. What's happening for the apex organization in Kenya can benefit Tanzania. What's happening by the apex organization, the Credit Union Association of Ghana, can benefit Cameroon and can benefit Malawi. If we share those best practices, we are one unified voice for advocacy. We become, as an apex organization, a technical facilitator training on education. We use the scope of representation across the continent, across our regional blocks, to make systemic change. That, my friends, is active collaboration. And through cooperative collaboration, that brings Africa into the world. This picture in the middle is from the Salima School for the Blind in Salima, Malawi. I'm in blue at the top. There's some of the students and some of the members of United Civil Service that were planting a tree, planting a seed, a fruit tree that would bear fruit but also shade. During that visit, I met one of the students. His name was Alfred. Alfred helped reinforce for me that there are many things in life that I cannot see. My friend Alfred was blind. He was teaching me what I was unable to see for myself. And by planting this tree in Salima to grow fruit and to provide shade, I know that that will lead to more prosperity and more sustainability for our credit union movement. So I would ask you to please all rise. To take off your scarves, to offer one end of your scarf to the person next to you, and across the aisle, and from row to row. Just hold on to each end. We will all be connected by these scarves. Okay? Is everybody connected to a scarf and holding on to one end? And row to row behind you, it's important not to break the trust of the rows that are behind you or in front of you. So at the ends of each aisle, you can do this. And together, as we say, credit unions, happy family, credit unions, happy family, Africa leading, happy family, credit unions, happy family. Thank you for letting me join you this morning. Let's hope that we move forward to a cooperative and much more prosperous world.
Let's appreciate him more, please. We can do better. Let's clap more. Credit unions. Happy family. I loved the waving. Oh, where is mine? Let's still wave. Wave the scarf of diversity, the scarf of inclusion. Credit unions. Happy family. Let's still do it. I know the Acoska press team would like to take some good pick. Credit unions. Happy family. Diversity. Happy family. Diversity. Inclusion. Women. Youth. The older. Happy family. Credit union. Your colleague there. Apex bodies. Walk. Acoska. Musco. Mention it. That one. SACCA movement. Oh, thank you very much. Let's clap big for ourselves. And let's clap big for Jim Morrell. Yes, we can resume our seats. And indeed, unity and collaboration through the apexes, through the regulator and government makes our movement strong for the sake of the member. I would like to also say, Jim, you also exemplify this by your deeds, by what you do. You love us, Africa. You are always there, and that helps in the unity and the collaboration. Let's appreciate Jim more. One more. Jim and the colleagues of continent that are here and those that are not also here, they support us, and this is exemplifying the same unity and collaboration. And that's why Africa is able to show the stories that we are showing today that are touching people's lives. Let's appreciate them. Other keynote speakers, I want to say they have spoken